The chakras are a powerful system for understanding who we are and how we show up in our lives, in our relationships, in every single aspect of our lives. Hi, I'm Erica Boucher with Empath Yoga, and today I want to introduce you to the chakras. Now, maybe you've already heard of the chakras. Maybe you already have a sense of what they are, or maybe they're a complete mystery to you. Maybe you are just starting to find out about them, just starting to discover them. And maybe you've known about them for a while, but they've never really clicked for you. Maybe it's just been this abstract concept that's never felt really rooted or grounded in anything that you could relate to. So my goal today is to introduce you to the chakras in a way that relates to your everyday life. The chakras are energy centers. They are vortexes of energy. And I think this is why sometimes it takes a while for some people to connect with the chakras, because we're talking about something that feels and appears to be pretty abstract. And it is. Energy is abstract, right? You turn on a light switch and the lights turn on, but we don't really have necessarily an understanding of how that works. We know smarter people than us have got that figured out, and we just trust that when we turn on the light, we're going to have light. So the chakras are kind of like that. They can be mysterious. They can be kind of beyond our level of understanding because we're talking about energy. But again, just because we don't know how to touch or see or feel energy, we know it exists, just like love. Just because we can't necessarily cut into the human body and find the emotion or the energy of love, just because we can't touch it or feel it or see it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. We see signs of it. We see affection. We see loving expressions. We feel love. We have a feeling of love, but it's not necessarily something that we can pinpoint. It's non-local, right? It's not something that's localized that you can identify and say, there it is. It's the same thing when we're talking about the chakras. These are vortexes of energy. And because they're vortexes of energy, there are literally a limitless number of chakras. But in yoga, when we talk about the chakras, we are typically talking about the 7 major chakras that are found along this central channel of energy in the body. And so what I want to do is talk a little bit more about the chakras, and then in subsequent videos, I'm going to take some time to break down each of the 7 chakras so that you can start to have an experience with each chakra independently, and then start to see and feel and recognize the relationship between all 7 of them. To help ground the chakras a little bit more for you, for the scientists among us that want a little bit more than something totally abstract, if you look at the central channel of energy in the chakra system, the yogis call this central channel the Sushumna. This is the central channel of energy where these 7 major chakras lie. If you look at those chakras and were to superimpose the chakras over the body, you would see that each of those chakras correspond to a nerve ganglia emanating from the spine, where there's a high concentration of nervous system energy. Also, very close to where these chakras are located, you will find endocrine glands. So we've got endocrine glands relating to the different chakras, and these are basically, this is the chemical system of the body. So if you think about our bodies and the nervous system and the chemical endocrine systems, those are powerful systems of the body that pretty much run everything else, right? And so in these areas where the chakras are located, it stands to reason then that there's a high concentration of energy. Now, making the connection between these energy centers and our everyday lives is where it starts to get interesting. I want to introduce the liberating current. The idea here is that the lower chakras of the body, the root chakra, the second chakra, the third chakra, these are the human chakras. This is very much about our experience in the physical world, in these physical bodies, and this physical experience that we're having on this physical plane of existence. Then you have the heart chakra, and then you have the upper three chakras. And when we're dealing with the upper three chakras, now we're really starting to deal with more of the non-physical world. This is where the energy starts to get lighter and freer. It's more about our connection with our spiritual selves, with cosmic consciousness, with divine energy. So the liberating current is the current that begins in the lower body. It's very much about our physical connection to the earth. And as each chakra is opened and balanced and aligned in a healthy way, the energy starts to rise. It starts to move from those lower, denser, heavier energy centers that are dealing very much with survival, and it starts to get lighter and freer as the energy moves up. So if we are balanced in different areas of our lives, the energy gets lighter and freer, and we start to feel more and more liberated. Another way to look at these energy centers is centers of consciousness, right? These are areas of consciousness and awareness that we have as individuals. So if your consciousness is strong and healthy and aligned in each of these areas, then you start to feel lighter and freer. That is known as the liberating current. You start with your physical reality, these physical bodies in this physical world, and if everything is balanced and aligned and if all systems are go, if we are healthy and the channel is open, then we will reach liberation, which basically means we reconnect with cosmic consciousness. We become one with spirit. So in that moment, we are liberated. If we lack a level of conscious awareness, if we are stuck in certain areas of our lives, the energy might get stuck, might get blocked, depending on what that is, what level of consciousness that is. So it's kind of like a traffic jam. So let's say that you have low self-confidence, low self-esteem, that you don't engage in or take part in your power of choice. Maybe you feel kind of victimized and lack motivation, lack willpower to take action. Just no oomph to you, to your life. That could mean that there's a blockage in your third chakra, which we will talk about in a future video. But think of that like a traffic jam. So the energy's flowing and moving. Everything's healthy, healthy, healthy. All of a sudden there's a blockage and it stops that upward flow of energy. It gets stuck here in this scenario in the third chakra. And the energy just builds and builds and builds. And we start to manifest this blockage in a variety of different ways. So depending on where the energy is blocked will depend on the symptoms that you experience in your life. These could be physical symptoms in your body. They could be emotional symptoms, things you experience on an emotional level. It could be intellectual blockages. And it could affect your work, your relationships, your abundance, your ability to feel safe in this world. It could affect you on pretty much every single level of your life. And again, once I started to understand this, once I started to understand the chakras as these powerful energy centers and what this energy related to, both on and off the mat, suddenly it all clicked, it all made sense. And now I see the chakras as a very powerful system for understanding and empowering ourselves in our lives. It's easy for me when I'm working with somebody, if I'm working with a client, depending on what the problem is they're talking about or the words they're using as they're talking about it, I can usually get a sense of where the energy is blocked. And because of what I know about the chakras, I also know what we can do to get them unblocked. From physical asanas on the yoga mat to exercises and practices they can do off of the mat in their everyday lives. The chakras are a powerful system for understanding who we are and how we show up in our lives, in our relationships, in every single aspect of our lives. So if you are at all curious about the chakras and how this relates to you, like why should you care about the chakras, then stay tuned. Check in with some of my other videos on the chakras, and I think it's going to start to make sense to you really quickly. My next video will be on the first chakra, the root chakra. Stay tuned. This episode is brought to you by my 8-week chakra balancing yoga series. Each week in this series, you'll get an introduction to each of the 7 chakras, the major energy centers in the body. We'll spend an entire week on one chakra. You'll get 2 yoga practices relating to that one chakra to give you an opportunity to really start to sense and experience what this energy is in your life. We'll spend time, a full week on one chakra before moving on to the next one, because each chakra builds on the one before it. And then in the 8th week, we will spend more time exploring the liberating current and the manifesting current. How do you take an idea from pure potential, the sea of infinite possibilities, and bring it into existence in your physical reality? If you're interested in going on this journey with me, go to ericaboucher.com/chakra series.